Hello and welcome to another episode of the Born Too Late podcast, where my friend Josh and we talk about the music we love, and every great now and again, we talk to some of the people that make this music. For example, today, not only am I joined by my co-host Josh Rutledge, but we've got Marco from No Front Teeth Records. And this episode we're celebrating 25 years of No Front Teeth, which is just pretty amazing, Marco. I know. Okay, well, first of all, I know No Front Teeth started out as a zine. Then you started releasing CD compilations. Then you started releasing like full-on releases by bands, but did the connections that you made releasing comps and getting all that together, did that help with like the next natural progression of releasing records, like individual releases by these bands? Sorry, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Like we made a lot of connections when we first started the zine, because we were speaking to loads of bands and labels just to do interviews and stuff like that, reviews, stuff like that. So, and then when we did the first compilation, then definitely, because we started doing, and we never wanted to be a label earlier. It was just going to be some of the bands that we liked, that we interviewed and stuff, put them on a comp, do that maybe once a year. It kind of be like an audio zine version of what we did. And then definitely working with more bands in that way. We then started doing singular releases by those bands. So definitely. But we still, honestly, for years and years, we didn't consider ourselves a label. So it wasn't like we were trying to build those connections or anything, but it did definitely happen organically. So yeah, definitely, I think doing those comps and speaking to the labels was just an avenue into it being quite easily possible at the time.
So you mentioned that you maybe didn't even think of yourself as a label when you were already doing the label.
No way. Not honestly, not for like. It's hard to know the exact dates. I should know this because I wrote a whole thing for the comp, but it's at least 6 years we didn't consider ourselves a label.
Wow.
We were just like a zine that did some releases, but we weren't like, we were definitely first and foremost a zine for so many years, and the zine carried on for like well over 10 years, I think.
Wow.
Probably if I got my sort of history right, but yeah, something like that. But yeah, but it got smaller and smaller. Like,
yeah, just think of like going back to like the beginning of No Front Teeth. When it's been around for a year or two, you've been doing the zine, you've maybe released some music. Like, could you have imagined back then that you'd still be doing No Front Teeth today? Like, if someone had said, "Oh yeah, your No Front Teeth is still going to be a thing in 25 years." Yeah.
In all honesty, absolutely no way. I mean, we were doing it like day by day, month by month, year by year kind of thing. Like, we just were doing what we were doing at the time, never really looking at the future, other than like, oh, this year maybe let's do a comp. Like, that's our future was that year, to the end of that year, maybe. Like, oh, maybe this year we'll try and do a comp at the end of the year. That, that's as far as our future was. So no way. And I've even said many times that like I think if somebody, we were just making it up as we went along, the whole thing. And like, if somebody told me what it would have entailed, I'm not sure I would have. Well, no, mind you, I do stick to my guns quite a lot, so I don't know. But no, I definitely don't think I would have ever seen it lasting this long. No way. Even maybe like when we were 10 years in, I don't know if, we do need to be in 15 years time. I don't know. Like now we've done 25. I just think it will just be here now. So I can't see it ending now. I don't think, but yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you kind of answered what I was going to ask you next is if when you first started, if you knew how much work it would put in, do you think you would have even started it in the first place?
Well, so that's a kind of yes no answer, because the work is crazy amounts, but I don't mind doing that. I'm a really hard worker in like everything I do, so that's hard work doesn't scare me. That's fine. But I think if you were to tell me the realities of it, like hurdles that you've got to cross, like price increases, taxes when it's like, you know, import fees, energy surcharges, just all that kind of bullshit that just takes the fun out of what is a hobby. It's a passionate hobby that we want to just continue something that we love and help that spread. It's that side of it sucks. And that side of it, I could easily jack it all in because of all the shit, the problems with, you know, oh, these packages aren't arriving, and just the bullshit that you don't need in life that somehow we've brought into our life in a hobby. Is just like, ugh, that side of things just makes me want to could easily make me jack the whole thing in. But the hard work isn't a problem, but it's a shit ton of work. I know, I can promise you that it's been a shit ton of work, like hundreds of thousands of hours. But no, yeah. So I still would do it, but I think if I was a kid now and somebody said, by the way, I'd probably think twice about it now because of all that crap, all the crap that comes with it, not the work, but all the other stuff. So it's a kind of yes, no answer. I don't know, but I definitely, if it was just the hard work, I would do it all over again in a blink of an eye. But with all the side sort of baggage crap that comes with it, don't know. That's not fun, that part.
Yeah, it's almost like all the hard work you put into it, then you have these external factors that come and that are out of your control, despite how much, you know, like if you were to just press forward on your own merits, it'd be one thing, but then you got these other things, you know, blocking the fun.
Sure. It is, and it is, the thing is, it's like we give so much of ourselves to do this, and we don't make anything from it, so it is a pure labor of love, and that's fine, just as long as it's, you know, it is just hard work. But it's not, it's changed, and it wasn't like that. This is fairly recent, all this stuff. This is the past absolute max sort of 8 years, something like that it started, more shit started being annoying, like Brexit and, you know, Trump putting those import fees in, and energy surcharges, and just general shit prices of everything just skyrocketing, and then pressing plant just getting backed up in like 2022 or whenever it was, you know, and just 7 inches costing as much as an LP to make now. This is like all just boring crap. It's like, so we don't even make 7 inches anymore. I mean, that's wild. We were basically a 7-inch label, but because of the way shit's gone, can't even do a 7-inch anymore, because it just doesn't. That's just financial suicide now. So it's changed. So I mean, 25 years is a long time. It would be crazy if it hadn't changed. But there are definitely some. You know, I could understand if this was full on business. You know, we were getting paid, and then it's like, fine, you just roll with the changes. But when it's a hobby, and you're like, oh man, like we've got to put more effort in, and we're kind of getting less back. Like but obviously we're stubborn and we still do it and we love it. So but yeah, those things do take away from the fun of doing something.
I think that kind of leads into my next question, which is longevity when you're doing a independent record label. It's very, very rare. You don't talk about a whole lot of labels that get to 25 years. It's pretty amazing, especially when you consider like all those things that you just mentioned that are obstacles. Yet from a fan's perspective, people that really love the label, I think the label has never been better. Like, it's always like, oh, it's another month. It's time to check the website update, and you know, what does No Front Teeth have coming out? It's like the label is still great. Like, what's your secret for keeping No Front Teeth so strong after all this time?
Well, thank you, Josh. That's amazing thing to hear. But like, I think it might just be stubbornness, to be honest, because like it's like, I think so. I think the way I think is, if you're going to do something, then you got to do it like properly. So I wouldn't be happy doing like, oh, you know, we're a label that put out like 3 releases a year. That's not me. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I want to do. So I want it to be like, I think we've consistently, well, since we became a proper label, we've consistently put out like, you know, on average, probably like 20 releases a year or something. So that's what I want to keep doing. I mean, I don't even know what the secret is, because like we never put stuff out because we think it will do well. We put the stuff out because we like it. So, you know, we could get it completely wrong and no one likes one of our releases or something. Never happened, but it could happen. So as long as one release is like funding itself and like putting it into the next one, and then it's fine. Then we'll always do it. But it's, I really don't know what the secret is. I don't know. I mean, honestly, we just went into this as like, you know, we were, I don't even know how old we were, 20 years old or something, or 21 or something. But like, so like, we didn't really know what we were doing. So everything was like new. So I don't think nothing was like explained to us, and we're just like learning as we went. I think we're still learning. I do think we're still learning. So like, I don't know if we know what we're doing is right or wrong at all. It's just doing, and it seems okay. So I think I don't know. I don't know what the secret is. I really don't know. But I mean, people, thank God, people have liked it, I guess. But like they could not have. I mean, there's many times in the earlier years that we could have jacked it in 100%. It was just a bit like, oh, okay, this is, you know, it hasn't always been this way. It's not like we started and fucking hell, like these things are flying out the door. For the first 7-8 years, it was a struggle, definitely.
Mm.
But then that stubbornness makes you stick with it and be like, no, until, and it takes time for stuff to grow. Obviously, I don't think there's anything that you start and straight away from day one it's this successful thing. I don't think that exists. So, and I think it really helps that it's not a business for us. It is just a thing on the side. It's a big side. It's more, it takes up more time than a side, but like it's like it is a side thing in our lives. So it's me and John who still run it to this day. There's been a few other people come and go, but it's me and John who have always been there since day one. And we both have very full-time jobs, and you know, massively full lives, and it's just the thing that goes on the side. So I think that's quite healthy, because we're not business minded about it like at all. So I think that keeps it kind of like, I don't know what the word is, but it keeps it like not a burden, if you know what I mean. So not like we can do what we want to do. If we decide we want to put 6 releases out, well, so be it. We'll put 6 releases out a year. If we decide we just want to do cassettes one year, we can do that. If we decide we want to take a year off, we can do that. And that freedom, that's it, free. It's like the freedom of doing that, I think, is why it has lasted so long and probably still will. I think if tomorrow I had the chance to make it into a business, I don't know, it'd be a very different mind on it all of a sudden. And I don't know. So, but again, I haven't done that, so I don't know. But in my mind, I think that it's the freedom of the hobby that keeps it like a kind of like childlike magic to what we do, I think, and like a freedom, I think.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. So speaking of your the releases you've put out, and we'll talk more about this, but the compilation that you just released has a full Note Front Teeth discography as of right now ish.
Yeah.
And I was recently putting together like a list of all of our Born Too Late episodes with like the air date and then the guests, and just looking at that list, going down the list, saying certain names, certain episodes. I think of stories, stories that happened when we were recording, stories that happened with, how are the people that, just memories come. When you look at a list like this that you put out on your comp, on the Bloodstains Across Your Teeth comp, when you're looking at your discography that you put on here, going down the list, do you think of, does that happen to you? Do you think of stories looking at some of these releases going, oh yeah, I remember this release, or oh yeah, I remember this?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can remember each of those releases happening, like speaking to the people at the time, like when someone, yeah, I can't, I'm not good with like, you can't pluck out an NFT number and I'll tell you what it is. There's a few that I know what they are. I have friends who run labels where you can tell them any release number, they'll tell you what it is. I'm like, wow, I can't do that. There's like 10 I can probably do like that. But yeah, every release I remember like, oh, like the time that it happened, like what, yeah, I could totally like zone into like what was going on at that time, and yeah, and who I was talking to, and yeah.
Does any release come to mind where things went particularly haywire, or and maybe didn't happen, or they eventually
so
happen,
there's never, it's never happened with like Bad Blood or anything like that, but there have been a few. There was a band called the Boulevard Beat that never came out. It just didn't come out. No reason, it just didn't come out. Like, don't know, just we were going to do a Chip Hanna live record, it never came out. We had the recordings because I did it. We recorded it all at a place. Just no reason. They just fell to the wayside, and that was it. Just didn't happen. So, but problematic releases, yeah. The DVD that we put out, Dance for Troops Volume, 2 or 3, I don't know. What was it? 2 I think. So the DVD one, that was almost the death of No Front Teeth. That was an impossible release. This just shows you how much of we were like learning on the fly. Like, we decided to do this DVD, so we'd go to all these gigs, we'd interview these bands, we'd film them playing, like couple camera angles. Then we had to buy a Mac computer so we could edit it. So we were doing all that, spent hours and hours and hours, and then when it came to the actual making of the DVD, we didn't realize that it had to be like authored, where you put the chapters in, and it has to be made like a proper DVD. That costs like a fortune. But also, like, we went through like 3 computers. Like, it was crazy. Like, that was, we nearly jacked it in. Oh my god, so many times I thought, like, just forget about it. It's like we were spending money, like money out of our own pockets to do all this, and like, but again, it was a real like learning experience. So we'll never do another DVD, I can tell you that. The other pain in the ass, was the new compilation. I'm never doing a vinyl compilation again. No
really?
way. No way. I mean, we did the one for P Trash, but that's a different one, because that was a tribute comp. But in terms of, it was, I mean, I probably will do one, but like, it had to be very specific, and believe it or not, this was supposed to come out in like March, and we're in December, and that's when it's come out, because so it had to be 25 songs, and it was hard to pick, because it could only be one band from one release on each year, from 2001 to 2025. So 25 is a lot of songs, even though they're punk songs, to fit on an LP. So we were over by like 4.5 minutes per side. So I was like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? You can't have a 25 year comp and have like, I don't know, 20 songs on the LP and 5 on a 7-inch or something. It's going to be like ridiculous. So I had to swap a few songs out. We managed to get slightly shorter ones by certain bands, but some years that wasn't available, like the early ones. There was like 1 release the first year, 2 releases, whatever the second year. So, and then I only wanted one of my bands on there, which was obviously going to be the Gaggers, and that had to be, because of other years, it had to be the song from our split with the Stitches, which is the longest Gaggers song ever. It's like 3 minutes. It's like, what the fuck? We have like no 3-minute songs, but it has to be that one because of what was happening on other years. So it was really hard to curate this thing. In the end, we got it mastered like 2 or 3 times, and I got the guy to cut out every bit of silence. So there was like no silence. Then I was like, it's still going to be problematic. But somehow the pressing plant managed, I don't know how the fuck they managed to do it, but they did. And it's not quiet. I thought the grooves were going to be like really, really like shallow, and it's going to be quiet. It's not quiet at all. They've done a spectacular job on that. So, yeah. So, but that was a ball ache. I'll tell you, that was a ball ache. It took that many, we got delayed at the plant. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but I don't know. But it was just, because we were going to do 2 this year. We were going to do a Killed By one as well. It's going to be called like Killed By. We were going to do Bloodstains Across Your Teeth and Killed by Tooth Decay, which was going to be another load of bands from, but it's just like, well, we ran out of time anyway because December. So
yeah,
I did think it's like, people keep asking me to do a compilation of bands I've been in, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. It's a bit like egotistical. It's a bit like the Marco show. But that, if I did a comp, that would be it. Because then also you got to realize that most of the bands on that comp are in America. So shipping all these records out to America in December when it's nearly Christmas, oh my god! And the cost of shipping, is, oh my god, just like I cannot tell you how many packages have gone out the past 2 weeks.
I can imagine.
It was supposed to be much more relaxed with this comp because I knew it would be a lot of work. So I was hoping it was going to be out in like spring. That was the plan, and it was all set to do that, but it just didn't happen that way. And this has never happened with another release. Not even in that 2022 when it was like terrible pressing times. This has been the worst. Like it was just a difficult one to do, but we did it, and it's fine. Like just in time we did it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that about the song times, because like putting it on my record player, I noticed, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of songs. Like there's just so many.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. So I thought about that. I'm like, gosh, it must have been tough squeezing all these in, one side, but interesting.
Yeah, we never. So we should have done this at 20 years, and it would have been much less of a ball ache. Much less of a ball ache, but we did nothing at 20 years. But like, yeah. So I don't know. Like I love vinyl compilations. I can't believe we've never done one. That's just mind blowing to me. I did want to do at one point. I was going to do a London one because we'd done a lot of London bands, but then we didn't do that. But I might still do that one day. The shipping will be a lot cheaper, so I hand deliver those, so there'll be no shipping. Yeah, but so yeah, a couple of problematic ones, but none that were like, oh fuck these guys, we're not doing, nothing like that. We never had anything like that. Always got on really well with everyone, but yeah, they're the two that, funny enough, both compilations, weirdly, but yeah.
Yeah, you have a really interesting story here because you kind of start out, you don't really identify as a record label, you're coming up, you're putting out music. I guess eventually you have to admit that you're a record label. You get to the point now where you've put out so many like great records and put out so many great bands and like some of the best bands that we've had in like the last 20 years in the punk scene. And I guess probably maybe in the earlier stages you might have had to like hustle a little bit to get some bands to be on the label, but now it's probably like oh yeah, people want to be on No Front Teeth. Was there a point where you had a band that came to you that you really liked and you were surprised, like, oh wow, they want to be on my label? Like, was there like a moment where you realized, oh, this label has really arrived?
Yeah, well, you're definitely right about all that. But what? Trying to think of. I remember the first release that I was like, wow, I can't believe we're putting this up, was the Cute Lepers. But that was from a label in Germany that my friend used to run. He wanted to put it out, and he was like, oh, Steve, why don't we put it out together? And I was like, oh yeah, I never thought about asking. So I asked Steve, and he was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, wow, okay. At that point, I remember being like, fuck. Like, and I never even asked, like, the briefs. I could have got the briefs, like, earlier on, probably. Like, they would have been like, yeah, I knew the briefs for years, since the very beginning. But, like, I never, like, asked. Maybe I thought, like, oh, God, we're too small for them. Or, but then, like, Smogtown asked us, and I was like, wow. That was a bit later on. But, like, but, yeah, definitely, the one that definitely sticks in my mind is the Cute Lepers, definitely, because that was their first. That was So Screwed Up, so that was off the first record and everything. That was really early on. So, but yeah, I mean, my God, we at the beginning we were definitely asking people, definitely, because no one even really knew what we were or anything. But I remember I asked the Smut Peddlers really early on, and they said yeah. That was in like 2002 or 3, and they said yeah.
Nice.
Trying to think of who else in those days, but we were lucky from day one, because even the compilation with our very first release in 2001 had like Smogtown on it. It had the Huns on it. It had the Restarts on it. The Boyles. Can't remember anyone else off the top of my head, but like all those people said yes. And then we even did a release that was like with Hellcat artists on it. That was like this. It was called Fruit Cocktail versus Hellcat. Hellcat had to like sign it off. They said yeah, absolutely. So I was like, fucking hell, everyone just says yes to everything. Like, this is amazing. Like, all these people wanted were copies like of the stuff. And I was like, this is fucking amazing. So we were quite lucky, really, yeah.
That's cool.
But that's the other thing I was going to say is, Josh, you mentioned something there that made me think of something. That I think because we never knew what we were really doing, just we're just rolling along with it. We evolved without even trying to evolve. So we were like a CD label, basically compilation label that then went into a 7-inch label, that then went into like an LP label. And so we're quite different. So quite a lot has happened. Like the No Front Teeth of today, although it's sonically it's the same. Well, maybe not even. I think we're doing some different. Well, we've always done it. We never. I think people think we're like a 77 label, but we always did other stuff anyway. But like, we're a very different label now than we were 10 years ago, than we were 15 years ago. So it's like a natural evolution that has just happened because 7 inches cost too much. Okay, LPs then, and like like. It just sort of we have changed over those years, so we never had like a sort of a model really, other than being influenced by other labels and things. We knew the sound we wanted, we knew the look we wanted, but apart from that is, I'm an LP guy. I mean, I love 7 inches, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the 7 inch. I think it's the ultimate punk rock format, but I'm an LP guy, so to be putting LPs out is, I feel more comfortable doing that. I feel I love the 7 inch because what I think we did was put out a lot of bands' first record. And I genuinely think if we hadn't taken a chance on so many bands, they wouldn't even have a record out yet. And I think loads of those bands from the No Front Teeth 7 inch then got onto like other labels and but we were the ones that took a chance on a lot of bands that we liked and were like, yeah, we'll do their 7 inch. And I think you'll find that it's a lot of bands' first 7 inch. If you look through it, I mean, I can't do it, but like, yeah. So at one point, I think we were that kind of label that was like the label that maybe introduces a lot of these bands for the first time, kind of thing. But I love doing LPs. I really, really love doing LPs. I get really excited about doing LPs.
Yeah,
I don't like. I'm an LP guy. I really am. Like, I love the concept of an album. I just am an LP guy. As much as I also absolutely love 7 inches, but the LP for me is like, it's a bigger moment. Like,
for sure.
You're presenting more. It's the bigger format. It's like artwork and more. So it's like, for me, that's like something really, really special.
Yeah. Well, I could definitely see that. So.
Oh, and so that's something I never thought we'd be. I never, ever, ever thought we'd be an LP label. Never. I thought that was like impossible, like prohibitively expensive, not going to happen ever. So it's wild that so that's the thing. Again, we never planned it. It's just happened that way. Now we definitely are an LP label now. Like, but done very few 7 inches in the past like 5 years. There are a couple 7 inches coming out next year, actually. But yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I'll have to talk a little bit more about that off air. So I know, speaking to you in the past, that Lookout Records was a big influence on you. So how does it feel knowing that No Front Teeth is about to outlive Lookout?
That's just wild to me. That's absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that.
It's about to. You're about to surpass that.
Wow. So we definitely we will outlive them then. That's crazy. That is wild.
For sure.
I know. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, no, they were a really really influential label on me and on No Front Teeth. But yeah, I was the Lookout guy. Like when I got first got into like American punk, I was not really an Epitaph guy or Fat Wreck or anything like that. I was the Lookout guy. So it was all, I liked, I think Lookout had like the most interesting varied sound because you had bands obviously like Operation Ivy, then like Green Day, but you also had like Crimp Shrine and like Filth and Blatz and Isocracy and things like that. So it was like they were quite a different label, I think.
Yeah, it was really interesting because it somehow all kind of fit together. Because
definitely
I
did.
like Filth. Yeah, I like Filth very much as I like Mr. T Experience.
That's what I mean. And then like they had even like Screeching Weasels. They had a lot of fucking big bands on it, but they were at home all on that label. It's quite special, really. Yeah. They didn't have this like homogenous sound at all. Like if you think of like the Lookout, I don't know, Big Five or whatever, they all sound quite different. If you think of like the Fat Wreck Big Five, they're all the same. Really. I reckon. I think they were going to sound like NoFX, but like, or Epitaph, maybe, like kind of that. I don't know, but like for me, you know, documenting like a scene, which definitely was a big. I did really do that with No Front Teeth. I documented a lot of the London scene at the time because there was no one else doing it. So I put out like first records by like 7 inches and stuff, by like the 1007s, by like the Hateful. I put out like who else was there? I can't remember anymore now. But like loads of London bands that like kind of no one else was like documenting and stuff. So I kind of feel like that was an influence on, that was kind of like my version of that. And then there were other labels that really influenced No Front Teeth as well. Like Hostage was another massive one. Beer City was a massive one. Those two that were happening. Well, Beer City's, well, they're both still going actually. But like, and then obviously like Danger House Records and stuff like that. Like aesthetically, we were taking from that, the way we had our covers and things like that.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask you next. If we're some other labels that really kind of like maybe you emulated or informed the way you did things. So, like when you were getting into punk music, probably what in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like how did you end up like discovering like a label like Beer City or Hostage?
That's a really interesting question. I remember Hostage. There were loads of record shops in London, and I've been going to record shops since I was like 10 or 11, because I was used to be into heavy metal. So I've always been into like music heavily. And there was a record shop called, I think it was called Resurrection Records. It was kind of this like goth shop. It was in Camden Town, and it was down some stairs, but like a pizza restaurant. And I remember I used to shop there in my like metal days through to like even like goth kind of days and stuff like that. And then I remember once I found a record by a band called The Decline, and it was on Hostage Records. And it's weird because it's an LP, and Hostage didn't really do LPs in those days. It was all 7 inches really. And like, and I just loved the Hostage logo, and I was like, "Wow, this looks like really punk." And I took it home. It's actually one of my least favorite Hostage releases, but that was my introduction to Hostage, because then I like kept an eye on it, and then I started finding out about Bone Crusher and stuff like that. So that's how I found out about Hostage. Beer City I found out about because I skateboarded for years through Dwayne Peters. So I remember like there'd be ads for him, and it would always say Beer City skateboards and records. I was like, oh, he was skating for Beer City at the time, and I was like, oh, records, what? And then looked into it, and I loved what he was doing. I loved all that shit that he did, that real 90s sounding kind of like shitty sounding punk. And he did loads of 7s and like LPs, so I loved everything. I loved his skateboards. I loved everything that like Mike was doing. I thought that was, to me, that is actually the most important label. And he's still going now, doing like kind of cool reissues and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, that's how I found, like, one through skateboarding, one through literally taking a chance on, and look out it was just known because obviously Operation Ivy and Green Day and Screeching Weasel, that was easy to stumble across, like Lookout.
Yeah, for sure.
Not so much the other two. Like, if it wasn't for skateboarding, I don't think. Well, I would have known about about Beer City eventually, but not as early as that.
Mm-hmm. So I know that just changing gears here for a second here. I know that you are an artist as well, and you do a lot of the album cover art for No Front Teeth releases, as limited editions, and you do all these creative things with your records. Do you think that like having that form of a creative outlet on doing those album covers, do you think that's something, that's another thing that maybe has kept No Front Teeth going, like using it as opposed to just being like, okay, I'm gonna get the cover art from the band, here you go, off to the, do you think having that creative investment in those records has helped you keep the label going?
Well, it's definitely a massively important part to me. It's like kind of half of it for me, and I get really excited because most people, well, I've done like 99% of the covers, and people want me to do them, so I get really excited. I get super excited when I know there's a new release. So when I know we're doing a new album, I'm like, whoa, about the music, and then I'm also like, oh wow, got to start thinking about the cover now and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So definitely, it's like definitely a massive part of it for me. But I think either way, I would still be creating art one way or another. It's definitely it's definitely like a sort of a ready-made way for me to channel my creativity into, definitely. So yes, it's right up there with me with the music, that, because I do want, we do want it to have a certain look, and I've been told many times that you can tell a No Front Teeth release straight away. So I think we've achieved that kind of in-house style, without, I think, every cover looking the same or anything like that. But like, and it definitely led me to do like loads of other work for loads of other people. So it kind of goes hand in, like, I kind of think of No Front Teeth as much, like as artistically as I do like musically.
Yeah. So basically, what I was going to ask about is the fact that you have done a lot of your own releases on No Front Teeth, but you've never really repeated yourself. You've got many different projects, but they're all kind of show a different side of your musical influences and your style, and you've got to work with a lot of cool people. So just having that, like being able to say, oh, I'm going to put that out on No Front Teeth, it's kind of a natural place for these releases to appear. Is that sort of part of what keeps you loving doing the label, to be able to have that as like your own artistic source?
Well, sort of. At the beginning, like no one would want to put our stuff out because no one knew who we were. So obviously we were like, hey, we kind of got this label thing, I guess. Like, why don't we just do it? So it was different in those days. But then I kind of try to not release my own stuff as much as possible, even though my own stuff does really well on No Front Teeth. But I kind of like, I don't want it to become like a Marco show or vanity label or anything like that. So in a year, I never have more than like 2 things I'm on ever. I don't think. I probably have had, but like I try not to anyway, because I don't want it to be this thing of like, but yes, obviously it is. My bands all pretty much, most of them naturally suit No Front Teeth. So there are a few like maybe a bit too heavy or whatever, but like, so it is. Yeah, it's nice knowing that can always happen. But I do genuinely try and keep it to like a minimum. Like I would always rather someone else put my stuff out, I think. So, but yeah, it's great. I mean, I love doing all those projects and stuff like that, and there's always stuff going on. There's so much stuff that'll probably come out next year. So many new bands.
Your bands?
Yeah.
Wow, that's another thing I want to hear about too. Then, well, I know we talked a little bit about this before, but 25 years, as we talk about, quarter of a century, it's a long time. How has technology helped you run the label, or even help you, do artwork, or even as a flip side, has it made things any worse?
Wow. Well, I had to learn how to use Photoshop, so that's, which I do for work anyway. So that's been a major advancement in my I still work. I'm still like a fine artist and stuff. So loads of, even if things end up Photoshop, they often start off drawn or collaged or whatever it might be. So definitely the ability to use Photoshop has been massive. Then obviously like movie editing, which we had to learn for the DVD, and we still do now to make promo videos like Premiere Pro and stuff like that. I don't think we've used much more than that. We don't really use AI at all. But I guess that'll change. Maybe bands will start using like AI to do their covers, and then start presenting shit like that, and we'll see. But like, I don't think we're quite there with AI in terms of. I think AI, obviously, I mean, it's an amazing tool. I'm not necessarily against it, but like, I think in some creative fields, it's not quite there yet. Like, you can't just tell it to do a front cover and it's going to be a usable front cover. I just don't think it's there yet. But obviously it's it's going to get better and better and stuff. So maybe there'll be no more bad album covers ever again once it gets there. But So yeah, I mean, we've kind of stuck with what we've always kind of done. I can't think of anything like. I guess it's become easier to record music. I do a lot of stuff with people from like American people and stuff like that. So that's very easy back and forth with like Logic and like file sharing companies and all that, you know, platforms and stuff. And I guess digital platforms like music and stuff. That's all changed. But again, we've stayed quite old school. Like we're not on No Front Teeth on. I mean, we don't even have a Bandcamp or anything. We are strictly like a vinyl label. We just leave that to the bands. With my own bands, yeah, some of it's on Spotify. I don't even do that myself. Other band members do it. I'm not against digital music. It's fine, but we are a vinyl label. It's strictly vinyl. We really have not changed very much since kind of day one in our mentality. Again, nothing against digital music. I listen to a lot of digital music on the way to work. Like, I can't carry a turntable with me. I'm not an audiophile, but by any means. So I'm cool with it all. It's just when it comes down to the label, I think we are a vinyl label, and that's what we do. If the bands want to do digital, fine, brilliant. I'm nothing against it, but it's not what we do. It's not what people come to No Front Teeth for. We really are, you know, like that kind of purist mentality when it comes to the product, and it is a record from us, from our side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fascinating thing to me. I've noticed that technology, yeah, there's bad things about technology, but it's really allowed like a label like yours to be able to sell vinyl records, uh, because you can use the internet for people to email you and all
Of
the things
course,
like
yes.
that to promote the music, but you're still just putting the music out on vinyl.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously the internet, I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't, not just literally because we're on the
Right.
internet now, but I think how far I mean, that's the thing. No Front Teeth only ever existed in the days of the internet, even though it was quite early internet. I mean, we were still, and we, you know, we liked like American stuff mainly. So we were just talking to bands in America and emailing them, and you know, like again, although it was hard, it's relatively easy if you think of the people that came 5 years before us, 10 years before us. Like they were sending letters, and still possible. Obviously, it happened. There's thousands of scenes and stuff, and it's all brilliant. But it's so I guess that's, you know, that's a huge technological thing. But that was there at the beginning of NFT. It's not like that happened or anything, but during our time. But yeah, it's pretty amazing that you can, you know, well, these days, if you think about it, you can record a song in your bedroom and then 5 minutes later put it up on Bandcamp, and someone across the world might buy it. I don't know, like it's insane. Like that was unheard of in like obviously like the beginning of what we were doing.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of piggyback on Jay's technology question here because I know when Jay and I were like growing up and getting into punk music in the '90s, it seemed like record labels were like really, really important. Like
Yeah.
there weren't a whole lot of bands putting out music that wasn't on some label, and it was a lot of, you know, these like little punk labels. And so of course I became sort of like very passionate about following these little punk labels, and it was important. You know, we talked about Lookout and things like that. You know, we're kind of in a different world today where you have bands who can just do Spotify and they can just do Bandcamp. They don't really need a record label if they don't want. And it just kind of feels like maybe now the independent record label is not maybe as significant as it was in punk music maybe 30 years ago or even 20 years ago. But what are your thoughts about that? Like, where is there a future for like the record label in this digital world going forward?
I guess it's like if you take a label that is established, I don't mean like 25 years established, it could be less than that, whatever, but a label that has a kind of like seal of approval kind of stamp to it. I think that'll always be important because you can be a new band, you can do all these things, all the things you mentioned that are fantastic. I think it's amazing, all that shit. I think it's amazing that you don't even need anyone; you can just do it yourself. I mean, you can press a record, you can do everything yourself. You don't really need a label. But I think that I think when people come, obviously, I can only speak from my own experience at running a label, but also as a customer, a consumer of other labels, that all the labels I love, I expect their releases to be that I'll like them. So I think, oh, if they've put that out, I'm going to like it. Therefore, I can take a risk on something I don't even know because they put it out and they've always, you know, I've always been more than satisfied by what they put out. So I think that's people will still want to be on the label for that reason. That it's like, I think it's nice when people say, oh, they are a No Front Teeth band. Oh, they're La Vie des Un Mus band. Oh, they're a Neon Taste band. I think that's a hostage band. Whatever people, it's nice. People, there's value in that, I think. Because you're right. But I think like the label keeps going year after year. Like, you know, putting stuff, it's putting so much work in, more than one band could. So one band's just one band, but that label's always pushing it for like 20 bands a year. So I think the label is always, it's always the bigger thing that's like constantly like, you know, grafting away at getting stuff out, getting names out there, and, you know, putting ads in magazines. I think like bands are kind of lazy as well. So bands don't really take like ads out in mags or send promo copies. Like that, you know, the label kind of does that for them. So it's like, I think there is still, I think people still want to be on a label. I do think, but yeah, of course you see bands put their own stuff out all the time, and I think they also should do that as well. So I don't think, especially in punk, I mean, punks have a hard time letting anything go. So I don't think the DIY punk label is going to go anywhere before punk just goes, if you know what I mean. Like, it will all go at once or just never go. But like, people still want to be, but I can't tell you how many like requests I get for stuff, you know, wanting to be on NFT. So I think people still want to. I'm surprised more people don't put their stuff out, to be honest. That's what I'm actually surprised at, because I think sometimes you get bands that like can be quite hot, and I'm like, why don't they just put it out? Like, they would do so well with that. But if they want to go through a label.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost, I mean, do you think it's kind of like, as you were saying that, I started thinking about with some, and I believe me, there's no comparison, but for some reason it's popped in my head. Somebody told me that dentists, okay, let me hear me out on this. Dentists, when they come out of dental school, they open up their own practice, and they know how to do the work, but they don't know how to do the accounting. They don't know how to do all the other stuff. And more often than not, they fail. That's why they end up joining bigger practices. You know, and I kind of thought, I sort of saw a parallel when you were saying that. Yeah, it's like bands know how to write music. They know how to, but they don't know how to, maybe sometimes they don't know how to do album artwork. They don't know how to, you know, like you were saying in the comp, they don't know. They show up to a record pressing plant with artwork, and they don't know how to do anything. And it's like, sometimes it fails that way. Maybe that's what the label.
Definitely. It's kind of not, it's their job to be creative. It's not their job to know to do. It's like the line in Spinal Tap when he does the 2-inch, you know, oh my God, what's it called? Stonehenge thing. And he said, he's creative. It's not his job to know the difference between feet and inches. So it's that kind of thing. It's like, here's our product. We did the bit we do. It's like an artist. Like, an artist, to sell your own painting is harder than putting it in a gallery, because you're like, who's coming to see, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. I think people on any label, not just mine or whatever, but like, it's, you are benefiting from the years of effort and connections and hard work that these people have put in. So I can get I can put a band who've recorded in their bedroom, and I can get that 7-inch out within like a month and a half, and it can be in Japan the next week. That band can't do that on their own.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, the shops and distros in Japan, America, Australia are never going to know who that band is, no matter how good it is. But when it comes with like a seal of approval from whatever label, then they might go, yeah, I'll take those. Yeah. So you're already that's where the benefit lies. You're already on a certain, like, you're already like on a ladder, whereas you're not just standing at the bottom of it going, well, we have this brilliant record and no one knows who we are. Well, of course no one knows who you are, but why would they?
Yeah.
No, you know, no one knew who we were. No one knew who No Front Teeth were for years. It's you know, so easy to give up.
Yeah.
But then eventually you become, you know, this happens with bands. You don't know, and then people tour with that band, and you get off the name of that band, and blah blah blah. So I do think that the label will always be a significant thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm thinking of like my age. I don't know. Like in my mind, maybe because I come from a time where labels are important, but maybe in the future, I don't know. But I do think people will always like to be the connection to be attached to a label rather than do it on their own.
For sure.
A DIY label, obviously, a label that is essentially people like them doing it. But like, yeah.
Yeah. So I know we touched on this a little bit before, but the Bloodstains Across Your Teeth comp. Yeah. Tell me how did this come about? Like, how did you come up with the idea of maybe doing this for the anniversary as opposed to, I know you probably want to do something commemorative.
Yeah.
Is that how the wheels started turning to
come up with this? Yeah, two things. That was definitely we thought we should do something for 25 years. And it's like, we toyed with the idea of doing like a show here, but I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I think it's a real ball ache organizing shows. It's not my bag. I've done it before. I don't really like it. And I thought like, oh, I don't know. That would only be in London. Like, so then I thought a compilation would be cool. I always wanted to do a vinyl comp. So there was that as well. So it was kind of ticking two boxes because we'd never done our own No Front Teeth vinyl comp. So it was perfect opportunity to do that. But it was just to that. I think I never even had the name. I loved the idea of doing like a Bloodstains one. So that I thought that was quite cool. Like to use their logo, use the classic Bloodstains logo and have teeth there and stuff like that. And then I guess once the idea came, it was like, well, it has to be one song from every year. So it kind of developed itself. But it was, yeah, I think a comp was the one thing that made like perfect sense. Although you are leaving a lot out because it's 25 songs out of, I mean, fucking hell, how many? Like thousands and thousands and thousands of songs you could choose from. So we were going to do at least 2 or 3, as I said, 2 or 3 comps. The idea was to do 2 minimum this year, a Killed By, and then maybe a third, and have like 3 compilations out this year that kind of all commemorated 25 years, but it didn't happen that way because of timing. So yeah.
So one thing I think we all appreciate about No Front Teeth is just your genuine passion for the music. I mean, obviously any record label, they're probably doing it because they love it, but I think kind of goes back to what you were just talking about, the seal of approval and trusting in your endorsement. So just in general, what have you been excited about in new music in 2025?
Oh, so I think it's been a great year for music. So some records that have come out this year. Let me think. The new Subversive Right record. That was great. Negative Charge on Neon Taste. Boot Camp on Convulse. Thought those were great. Ayukaba from Barcelona. I think that's a fantastic record. What are they called? Modem from Finland. I think are great. These are some great records came out this year. The Plasma record. Necron 9. I think it's been an amazing year for music. I still get excited, like super excited every single year. Like I don't think there's been a bad year of music since I've been into punk, to be honest. I think this year's been exceptional. That Nisa Mono record, Japanese band, the new Paranoid record. There's that Still No Peace compilation. That was great on Warbad Records. That was impressive. That had Muro on it, Bad Breeding, Chain Whip, Bootlicker, Warthog. That was an amazing comp. I think there's so much stuff came out this year.
You really keep up with that kind of stuff. I mean, it's like, if anybody wants to, and I'll plug this for you if you want. But yeah. If anybody wants to know what Marco's listening to, man, you do a really good job on your Instagram, on your Terminal Gagger Instagram.
Oh yeah, my spins. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time. I flip through that and I'm like, most of the stuff is pretty obscure. I mean, at least to me, I haven't heard of half the stuff you listen to. And so, yeah, if anybody wants to know what Marco's listening to, follow him on Instagram, Terminal Gagger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm spinning records. I spin records every single day, and like I'm always packaging and stuff in the studios, doing No Front Teeth. So there's constant records on, constant. So that's when I do the spins. It's usually like I've had like a big session of like assembling records or something, or like so I've got a record player in my office at work as well. So there's loads of vinyl of my work as well, which is cool. So yeah.
Nice.
Oh, the Imploders record was great.
Oh, dude, that's amazing.
That was great. And the Terrega 91 on La Vida del Mus, that was a great one this year. He puts out great stuff, loads of stuff this year. I think it's been a phenomenal year. I think it's been like 100 good releases this year.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, for my new site, I was starting to do a top 10 of the year, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can narrow it down to 10. I'm having a really hard time.
It's really, really hard. Yeah, really hard. So much stuff. I think by the time we were like halfway through this year, I was like, wow, there's been like a ton of stuff out, and it's just carried on, which is great. I mean, it's healthy punk rock is good.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think like half of what came out this year would still be impressive, and it's just been twice that. So it's like, I hope it continues. But yeah, no, yeah, I really keep up. I get so excited about new bands and stuff. I mean, I love the old stuff too, obviously, but like all of it. I think it's like so many reissues this year as well, like Familia Real and all that stuff. Amazing stuff got reissued this year as well. And Puke and Vomit, who puts out so many good records, so many good reissues and stuff. And Nausea Records, which is my friend Marcus's label, he does amazing stuff, all reissues as well. Like, or not reissues, but like obscure bands that only had like a cassette out and stuff like that, or amazing stuff. So so much stuff.
So speaking of new records, what is there anything you can talk about or want to talk about as far as the future of No Front Teeth Records?
Yeah. As I said, we still don't think in terms of more than like a year. So I can tell you that. Yeah, I can tell you that the first release of next year is a band from Spain called Fission, who are a great kind of post-punk band. There's also Miscalculation's new album.
What?
Brand new album. After 5 years, it's really, really good. So we're really happy with that. And we're probably going to start playing again as well. So I don't know if I'm putting that out. I might co-release that. I don't know. I kind of would like that one on NFT, actually. I kind of would like that one, or at least half on NFT and half maybe on an American label. But so there's definitely that. There's a new Trenchcoat record coming out next year. That's recorded and done. There's another La Rabia album, which is the last one. That's done. Just needs to be mastered.
Nice.
What else is there? There'll be a European version of the Knife Manual 7-inch from Canada. There will be another 7-inch, which is Californian band, which is members of Smogtown and stuff. That'll be out as well. What else is there? I've got a band with Erica from Appaloosa, who's a Seattle band. We're a band called oh my god, what are we called? Oh my god, I can't remember what we're called. Self-Incrimination, we're called. And it's like God, I can't remember my own bands. And it's like it's
so
like
freaking many.
I know. It's like kind of post-punk stuff. I've got in a band with some Brazilian people called Latidos de Vingança, which means barks of vengeance. So that's kind of like old school Brazilian sounding, like hardcore punk. Play guitar in that. So there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. I've probably forgotten loads. There's other stuff too, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff. But
nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's going to be great.
We're playing with Illegal Leather next year as well.
Wow.
So we've been rehearsing with that because that was just me. That was just a lockdown thing. But now it's become a full band, so we're going to be playing soon with that.
Wow.
Oh, and Disposable Dogs might do a Californian tour.
What?
Yeah. Because they're all there apart from me, so I just got to fly out and do it. So we're talking about either early summer or October.
Holy crap! It's funny. That was on the tip of my tongue. I was about to say. Yeah. Speaking of great records that came out with that fucking Disposable Dogs, top. That's going in my top 10 for sure.
Thank you very much. Oh, no, that's it. The second album's done. That's coming out soon. Yeah.
Really?
Second album's already done. Yeah.
Oh, dude! Let me know about those California dates.
I will do.
Because I will probably go there and see you guys for sure.
Well, we're talking about either like July or October. We're just figuring it all out now and stuff. It's going to be guys from Smogtown in it, Oil, obviously. So like, yeah, it's going to be cool. Oh, and then there's the third Irish Paralysis album is coming out as well.
Wow.
So yeah, that's next year, and we've got a few shows booked. We're playing with Clan of Zymox, like legendary band. We're playing with them in March in Germany.
Man,
I
wish I could see that too.
Yeah. So there's so much. I don't want to think about it too much because it's like too much. So like I feel like take like a week at a time or something. But like I'm
cool. Excited. All of this is really exciting. Well, hey Marco, thank you. Unless Josh has anything else to add,
I think we got a perfect interview in the books.
Cool. Another one.
I appreciate you coming on and
hanging
out with us, talking about No Front Teeth.
Yeah.
And if you want to, can you mention where people can go to, find out about the label, get your records?
Yeah. Well, you can go to the website, which is just nofrontteeth.net. You can you'll get all the email addresses on that to email us and stuff. You can get in touch with me directly through Instagram, which is just Terminal Gagger. We have a Facebook, but it is just our news things. We don't do anything more than just put the news blasts on there. But yeah, email's always good. It's just nftpunks@nofrontteeth.co.uk. Yeah.
Cool. And if there's any even left, but I highly recommend everybody pick up if you want a taste of what No Front Teeth does, pick up the new Bloodstains Across Your Teeth LP. As usual, it's just phenomenal release. There's a whole No Front Teeth, I guess, autobiography written on it, as well as I know I mentioned the discography, which is very, very formidable.
Did you get a magnifying glass out to read all that?
Yeah, well,
there's a lot to fit on there.
I try to collect No Front Teeth records, so I've made my own list.
Amazing.
So I didn't have to, look through everything, but it's there's a lot on there.
Yeah.
But hey, man, again, come back, hang out with us anytime.
Yeah.
And talk No Front Teeth, talk punk rock in general. So
for sure.
Thanks again, Marco.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco.
Cheers.